there, guys. Welcome to the Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers, Chicago Bulls, and 76ers season recap show. I am your host, Suns Geek, and I am with three special guests. They feel like a part of my channel because they've been here a lot throughout the past few years. So let's get it all started off with Reliable Rants. Reliable, how you doing, man?
Doing all right.
Good, man.
Normal day, normal life.
That's good. That's good, man. Rom 2.0, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I don't want to talk about the Sixers, but I'm here to talk about the Suns, Lakers, and Bulls.
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
I've actually been keeping a small secret from you. This isn't really like a recap show. It's more of like a therapy session. So, like, whatever you got to say, man, just let it out. We're all here. And I'm also with Super Mario Hoops. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Had some biscuits and gravy this morning for breakfast, so I'm feeling really good.
I would be too. All righty, you guys. So as you guys know, we are going to be talking Suns, Lakers, Bulls, really just going team by team. I'm going to be asking you guys questions. For those of you who are watching the live show, ask us a question, get engaged, and we will do our best to answer your question. And if you guys see a good question, or if you guys have a question for me, or whatever the case may be, go ahead and ask it. So let's start off with the Phoenix Suns. We'll kind of just go down the list. I got tons of questions, and we might even be talking about some other teams as well, because I got a few things down there. We might be giving our hottest take at one point. We might be going over like contenders or pretenders and middle of the pack teams. It's going to be a great show. So let's go ahead and start with the Phoenix Suns. Their newest arrivals are Landry Shamet, JaVale McGee, Elfrid Payton. They re-signed Chris Paul, Cameron Payne, which basically meant that they took care of their priorities. They also re-signed Frank Kaminsky. The extensions for DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges have not happened. Maybe we can talk about that later. I feel like that's kind of a whole nother discussion for a whole nother time, but they did lose Torrey Craig and Javon Carter. I felt like Torrey Craig was kind of the odd man out in terms of salary cap. So I guess we'll just kind of go round table. Let's start off with Reliable Rants. Reliable, just if you had to give the Suns a off-season grade, what would you give them?
Well, I didn't prepare for this. I'll probably go with a B or B plus. Just because, like, it's not like you guys did anything abnormal that we didn't expect, but you did your job. You know, you re-signed your star player. I don't like that it was a 4-year deal. I think it should have been like a 2-year deal, because Chris Paul making like $40 million when he's like 40 years old. I don't know about that. That's not gonna. Like, look, y'all lost players, but then you also brought in players. So it's like you didn't lose at all in free agency, but you didn't take the biggest dub. You just did your job, you know? So, like, whatever that deserves is, like, the grade that deserves. So I'm going to give it, like, a B or B plus. And you definitely have a chance to go, like, repeat what you did last year, knowing the roster that you adjusted. Because it's pretty similar, and you can argue it got better.
Coming from a Lakers fan, I'll take that as a compliment. Romp, what'd you think of the Suns offseason? You got a grade for them? You got any thoughts?
I got a grade. I'm giving them a B minus right now. But if they get Thaddeus Young, I'll give him a B plus.
Yeah, facts.
I think Landry Shamet is
Bulls legend.
He's all right. Landry
he wasn't
Shamet's
worth
right
the 24th pick.
Yeah, that
like,
could be a topic. Was that trade worth it? Romp,
we gotta see how Shamet plays. I mean, he could prove me wrong. But right now, it's kind of an ant trade.
It was a mixed reaction among Suns fans, because not only did we give up Javon Carter, but we gave away a draft pick. So I don't know.
Trying to figure out what else happened. I don't know. I think they did a solid job.
Got JaVale McGee.
JaVale McGee was a good addition. You guys were missing a nice rim protector off the bench. It's going to be interesting to see if that Thad Young deal happens soon, because training camp is rolling around. So they got to make a move. Thank you. Happen, you know?
Thank you for bringing that up. Training camp literally is right around the corner, and then I think the NBA preseason starts October 3rd. So it is right around the corner, you guys. Get ready. Super Mario Hoops, do you got any thoughts on the Suns off season?
I mean, if I were to give it a grade, I'd probably also say a B minus. I feel like with the re-signing, I mean, bringing back Cameron Payne is big, obviously.
Especially on that kind of a deal, too.
Right. Frank Kaminsky, I mean, he's one of my guys, so obviously that's big time. And the Suns were like invincible when he started. But I mean, Chris Paul bringing it back, of course, is the right move. I know Romp wanted Lowry there, but I just don't know. Like Reliable said, I don't know if Chris Paul for that long and that much money is necessarily the right move. So that's why it's a little bit questionable. But yeah, like Shamit for Javon Carter, a little bit sussed out by that. But I do like how they added JaVale McGee. And I think the last time we were talking on one of your streams, I brought up like, you know what the Suns need, and I said like a guy like Ed Davis because they needed like
you did say that. I remember that.
And I mean, they didn't get him, but I think JaVale McGee can kind of like fill that void. Elfrid Payton, I mean, like good luck with that, I guess. And then Torrey Craig, losing him hurts, but like it's not like he's somebody that like can't be, you know, expendable or like replaced. Yeah. So I mean, it's not bad. I'd say a B-, but obviously, like Reliable said too, not like they made like a big splash.
Exactly. In my opinion, I think that we took care of priorities. I think our bench is better than it is last year. We got that rim protector that we desperately needed in the finals, and somebody who's won championships and just recently won a gold medal with Devin Booker. That is JaVale McGee. And now, first off, shout out to my guy Jeroy, aka Slick Visions. Great YouTube channel. Go check out his content. But I do have a question in here saying any updates on Thaddeus Young. Now, shout out to my guy Flex from Jersey. He is an NBA insider and he has some sources. He's been all over this, and he's actually helped me out by letting that information out. From what he has been told is that the Suns are still ongoing in trade conversations and everything about Thaddeus Young. And if you guys have seen my videos I've done on him, Jalen Smith and Dario Saric are on the table. I think since Thaddeus Young was just recently traded, that there's like the NBA's, you know, the rules, he can't be traded right away or whatever. And I think the Spurs might want some draft picks. That's what I know. But we'll have to see. Now, we think there might be a trade done by training camp, which I think would be perfect. So we'll see on Thaddeus Young. But I agree. If we get Thaddeus Young, it's an even better offseason. And I know that Chris Paul's contract on the surface might look huge, but that fourth year is not guaranteed. And the third year is like partially guaranteed. And Cameron Payne, great season, great backup point guard. Monty Williams loves Frank Kaminsky, and I will always say that we were like 7-0 or something when he started. So I'm happy with the offseason.
Honestly, I don't think the Spurs would like Thaddeus Young is such a Spurs player. I don't think I'm not sure they'd want to trade him right now. Because like obviously the Spurs are known for being like that quiet franchise that doesn't let you know anything or
they like never make trades.
Like I don't think we can expect him to get traded. Like honestly. Like, I think there's a really good chance he just stays in San Antonio and plays that little role player role.
And he's kind of like a guy that I feel like he can be, no matter what team he's on, like he kind of just fits because, I mean, he could play like a point center, point forward. He's a great defender. He's a pretty good shooter. I mean, he's improved his jump shot over the past few years. And then being a veteran, and he's been on a lot of playoff teams. I mean, he was with Philly. He was with Indiana. I mean, those are some pretty solid teams that were always like pretty scrappy as well. So,
and go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like I think he could pretty much help every team.
I was just gonna say last year for the Bulls, he had himself a great season, especially with his playmaking. He averaged like 4 assists last year and kind of served as like a point forward, if you will.
That's why we called him Thaddeus Johnson.
And like he won like the NBA's Hustle Award or something like that. And I could get really nerdy with all the stats and everything, but he had a great year last year. And the dude's been in the league for years. He's averaged, I think, in double figures the past few years, if not his entire career. So like he can kind of do a lot of great things. And I think he'd be a Suns fan favorite if he came here. I was going to talk about the Sixers, but Romp seems to have gotten disconnected. but that's okay. So
he got disconnected conveniently before the Sixers.
We can move on to the Los Angeles Lakers. This is some high quality live stream here.
Where the hell did he go?
What?
Where did he go? Like, I just don't get how you just get disconnected.
I don't know. His webcam was looking like it was glitching out and everything. Shout out to my guy Roy, who's in here, big time supporter of the channel. What's up, Roy? But yeah, let's go on and move on to the Lakers. Let me know if I'm forgetting anybody here. I'll go down the list. Key arrivals, obviously, Russell Westbrook, the biggest arrival. Kendrick Nunn, Carmelo Anthony, Wayne Ellington, Malik Monk, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, Rajon Rondo. I don't know if that one's been official yet. And then DeAndre Jordan just most recently. You guys re-signed Talen Horton-Tucker. I could go over the key losses, but Reliable, you are the Lakers expert here. What grade do you give your team? What are your off-season Lakers thoughts?
So this offseason, it's like a replica of the offseason where we traded for Anthony Davis. Because it's literally the exact same thing if you look at it. So we trade for a star and then fill out the rest of the bench with a bunch of minimum role players. It's exactly what we did this season. Literally the same thing what we did this season. We traded for a star and we filled out the bench with minimum role players. Although the main common denominator is the age thing. I think it's a bunch of experienced players mixed in with a bunch of young players like Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn and freaking Talen Horton-Tucker.
Yep.
And so we have a good contrast. So I think we put good pieces around those three. And then I also think now we have a good center rotation. I mean, we have a complete roster now, which is I didn't expect it to happen. And obviously we're a very common destination for free agents, but I was really surprised that we put together we get Kendrick Nunn on a minimum deal, we get Malik Monk on a minimum deal. These are really good players that we're getting. So I think I really hate Frank Vogel as a coach. I think it's really going to be up to him. Wow, that voice crack. Really going to be up to him on how he adjusts rotations.
Exactly.
That's really the big part about us is our roster. We have so many different players who are good at different things.
Right.
So it's just about him utilizing our roster and executing. So it's we're going to succeed if everything works out and no injuries happen because we have a flooded roster. The end of our bench is Trevor Ariza, Kent Bazemore, and Wesley Matthews. That's three starting caliber players. If we just execute properly and the coaching staff does their job, I think I don't know. I'd say we have I'd give it an A. I'd give it an A. Because just think about it, it was obviously risky getting Westbrook and people are saying it won't work. Bro,
they're hating.
Just look at the pieces we put around them and then I love the deal because Kuz is dog shit. Trez wasn't really
your boy Kyle Kuzma.
The pieces we gave up was worth it. Let me
right.
say. So, and then, getting all the other pieces, I give it an A.
You good, Romp?
Oh, my computer's bugging right now.
It's all good.
You guys were glitching out during it, but you seem good now. I restarted it.
Good. So Reliable, real quick, just my quick thoughts on the Lakers is I think Russell Westbrook gets way too much hate and baggage and all that. He's an MVP, future Hall of Famer, Mr. Triple-Double. And you guys obviously got better. Now, again, you're right. With Frank Vogel, we got to figure out how he's going to do lineups and rotations and adjustments and all that. But your team is pretty stacked with a lot of Hall of Famers on there. And we didn't even talk about LeBron or Anthony Davis. So anytime you have LeBron on your team, you're at least making the playoffs. And, you guys got David Fitzdale, so take that for data.
Why do you keep saying that? It doesn't really matter. It's not that big
of data. Rump, what do you think of the Lakers offseason?
They got better in the regular season, but they got worse in the playoffs because Russell Westbrook's one of the greatest regular season performers, but he's also he's gonna hold back LeBron in the playoffs, and he's gonna do what he usually does. That's just how it is with
Why
Russell
do you
Westbrook,
think he chokes in the playoffs? Where did you get that from?
He doesn't choke. He just doesn't have a shot, and defenses adjust to it. And he'll take shots because he's not Ben Simmons, but he'll miss the shots. And then you got LeBron James next to him, who's not a three-point shooter, And then you got Anthony Davis, who doesn't want to play center. So you have to put a center who doesn't shoot on the floor with Anthony Davis. So it's just a recipe for disaster in the playoffs for the Lakers, in my opinion, unless Anthony Davis grows some big boy balls and plays center.
Okay, first
That's
of all,
how I
like
feel about the Lakers.
the NBA is positionless, so like it's not really like you making that center point is just not. It's just not really,
when you have Russell Westbrook and LeBron. Yes, it's a big deal.
bro. I think
What do you think, Super Mario?
Yeah, Super Mario. We haven't heard from you in a bit. What do you think of the Lakers offseason?
I mean, like, just running down like their arrivals, adding back Rondo, I think that's probably going to help him. I don't know if he's going to be quite as good as he was 2 years ago, but I think he'll still be an addition. It just didn't seem like last year with the Clippers, he just didn't seem like he cared at all, and he was bad. Adding Bazemore, Ariza, Wayne Ellington, none. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't do much for me. Maybe even Carmelo Anthony. I know Carmelo, he can be a great spot-up shooter, but his defense has been a liability in Portland over the past several years.
He'll get you some buckets.
Yeah, that's true, but he's also been one of the biggest liabilities on one of the biggest liability teams.
That's fair.
Over the past several seasons.
Bro, Kendrick Nunn almost won Rookie of the Year. How is he just like he has so much potential.
He's been injured, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think you can just look at Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk and just be like, like those are like big.
No, I didn't say Malik Monk. I said Wayne Ellington and Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn has had his playoff lapses too. I don't know.
I know Romp.
I like
Romp was high on Malik Monk. I
like Monk.
I mean, I think Malik Monk is solid. I don't know what his role is going to be. He's a bit of a question mark to me right now.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Having Westbrook, I mean, Westbrook is probably one of the top 3 highest players I've been most critical of over the past decades worth. So you're probably not going to like what I'm going to say, reliable. But I just think that, okay, if you look at the players all time, I think LeBron is 5th in terms of usage percentage in NBA history. And one of the 4 players above him is Russell Westbrook, I think he's 2nd behind Michael Jordan. And he just hasn't changed that over the course of his career. And now there's going to have to be more touches for AD. There's going to have to be more touches for LeBron. Of course, Westbrook, is he going to change? And none of those guys are by any means great shooters. I think that losing a guy like KCP is going to hurt them. I think Alex Caruso, losing him defensively will hurt them. But getting rid of guys like Drummond and Harrell, that's fine with me. I think it's honestly better that they're gone. Sorry, Romp, that you guys got Drummond.
What do you mean? He's the GOAT.
Oh, yeah. I think getting rid of Schroeder was good. I don't think he was ever a fit there. Getting rid of Kuzma was the best thing they could have done, even though I think that outside of LA, he's going to be still pretty good. I expect him to have a pretty good season. Getting rid of Ben McLemore, it's whatever. But I feel like it's a big question mark still because Russell Westbrook he's never really deferred so much to Harden. He hasn't to Durant. He hasn't to Bradley Beal. And
a lot of personalities on this team.
With LeBron and AD, especially in a shooting league right now, more than ever. And both those guys are by no means great shooters. I don't know. I'd probably give them a B- as well. Maybe.
I'm grading them.
All right, so real quick, I just want to ask you. So you think our team before we traded for Westbrook is better than our team now?
No, I don't know about that. I mean, I think a B- is you improved a little bit, but I think people also got to realize that here's this little bias that people have. And I even left a comment on, I think, your video the other day, Suns Geek. I replied to someone on it, but people get caught up in a bias with new faces in new places.
Guilty.
And I'll give you an example. Last year, I saw so many people saying the Utah Jazz would not make the playoffs. And then what do? They go out last year and they get the best record in the NBA. And then they make the second round, and they lost, but they were still probably a top 6, top 7 team that season.
They were the number 1 seed for a long time too.
So just because you add new faces, it doesn't necessarily make you better. And the Lakers, they added the most new people arguably Brooklyn did too, but those are probably the two teams that added the most, and everyone's paying so much attention to them. I mean, isn't that a coincidence?
Brooklyn's got like
that's
16
not
players right now.
I mean, we did the same thing with Anthony Davis. We added 1 million new faces and we won a championship. So like,
that's true.
But
I think there were less concerns about that working. I mean, now you got like 2 ball dominant players that aren't by any means great shooters, and then you also have Anthony Davis that needs his touches.
Yeah, but like, what was I going to say? So like, for your point about the shooters, bro, we lost KCP, we got Wayne Ellington, we have Wesley Matthews, we have Taylor Horton Tucker, we have Kent Bazemore. Like we have shooters on the team. Obviously, our roster isn't predicated around like shooting, but bro, like touches, like sometimes like just in situations like this, they have to be split. Like if you look at KD and Kyrie and Harden, like that works. Like that like no one.
Of the biggest reasons that worked is because that's when Harden was coming off the bench.
No, I'm talking about now. I'm talking about KD, Kyrie, and Harden.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said Westbrook.
No.
Well, of course, we still haven't seen enough of them either because like they've only played 13 or so games together.
Yeah, but like obviously, no one's gonna know if it works, Westbrook and Hart and LeBron and AD until we see game time action.
Facts.
But like,
and even then, it might take a while.
Inevitably, touches are gonna have to be split, and we haven't seen Westbrook with 2 other stars on his team, so I don't think you can really say either way. And it could go bad, but like, bro, like, I don't think Westbrook is going to be.
I mean, it could work. I just think that in terms of the NBA today, where the biggest emphasis is floor spacing, and I see like what KD and Kyrie and James Harden can bring all together, and all of them can kind of add that element. I mean, Kyrie went 50, 40, 90 last year on 27 points per game. Nobody even said anything about that.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
Kyrie's the most disrespected player in the league.
And then also KD, arguably the best player in the league right now. And then we know what James Harden can do in terms of scoring the basketball. He's one. I just checked earlier because I was doing something. He's 14th all time in true shooting percentage.
I mean, you could say similar.
So Mario, you coming on a James Harden side? This ain't on your brand.
Not on your brand. What do you mean it's not on my brand?
I just don't see you as a James Harden supporter. I don't know why. I mean,
but I don't have anything toward or against James Harden, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, you could say all similar accolades about the 3 stars on our team. Like, it's not going to really change.
They don't fit well, and it will work in regular season.
Bro, do you know how many people were saying this about LeBron, freaking KD, Kyrie, and Harden? How many people were saying they wouldn't fit well?
You guys are not going to win because of Russell Westbrook. You're going to win because of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I don't think adding Russell Westbrook really does anything.
Don't disrespect Westbrook.
What do you mean adding Westbrook doesn't do anything?
If you do, that's probably. I mean, I'm sorry.
If you do win, it's not going to be because of Westbrook. I can tell you that 110%.
I mean, if we win a championship this year, it is because of Russell Westbrook because he was the new addition.
Because LeBron James doing LeBron James thing and Anthony Davis being healthy. But Anthony Davis
think you guys are winning anyways, so I'm just gonna leave it at
that. The Phoenix Suns are going to the championship.
Let me just get this
I got the Bulls in 6 over the Suns.
Oh, just like in '93. Let's go.
I got the Bulls as like the second seed, low key, but I'm too afraid to say it.
What,
bro? I mean, I think. I just think we put good pieces around. Obviously, the shooting is lacking, but bro, we put good veterans around our 3 stars. And touches, this is the thing. Touches are gonna have to get split. It's like it's not like rocket science. Like it's gonna happen.
LeBron literally he loves holding that ball.
Bro, when
LeBron's not holding the ball.
It was Russell Westbrook.
The first year when Anthony Davis came to our team, LeBron deferred to him so much more. It's not like
regular season.
I got a hot take. I think that if the Lakers, and this is gonna be it's gonna sound crazy. If they benched Westbrook, they'd be a lot better.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I think their offseason would be better. I think the big moves they made is like the little moves, like Monk, Kendrick Nunn. I think adding Westbrook is just like it's just too much.
Hey, can we
too risky?
I want to
no, because I know what's going to happen.
Clip it and upload it to your channel.
Reliable. I got a question for you. Do you think that it was better making the trade for Westbrook, or do you think they should have gone for Buddy Hield?
Buddy Hield.
That's a great question.
10%.
This is the thing. Westbrook has the more upside to make our team better, but it's also the more riskier decision, you know? So it's like, do you want the high floor? Do you want the shooter and Buddy Hield? And do you want LeBron and Anthony Davis, who's been injury prone, do you have to rely on them? Or do you want to get the third star? And do you want to potentially make a super team and a team that can't be stopped? So like, it's the risk factor that really answers the question. I would have probably done the Russell Westbrook deal because I think there's really good potential that it actually works.
I think that
Hield would just be a shooter. We know what Hield would be, but we don't know what those three can make.
And you guys wouldn't really have a point guard if you didn't get Westbrook or Rondo or anything like that.
They got LeBron James, bro. They don't need no point guard.
Shooter probably would have accepted that deal.
Yeah, that's true. The $120 billion deal that he asked for.
Yeah.
I just feel like both of them are pretty
He's a beast, bro. Underrated.
Inconsistent. I mean, I think Buddy Hield, like, he adds that floor spacing he would be a player that could drop maybe 20 points per game, and he might even excel playing alongside LeBron.
No, you can't. No,
really. I feel like Buddy Hield would.
A shooter wouldn't drop.
He would be
a shooter
perfect.
Next to LeBron and AD wouldn't be dropping 20 points per game, bro. I would say like
I think Buddy Hield.
He's dropping like 15 points per game on the Kings.
Well,
what makes you think he'll get 20 on the Lakers?
The thing about Buddy Hield is he's probably sick of being with the Kings, so he's obviously not putting full effort in. If he goes to a team that has championship aspirations with the greatest player of all time, LeBron, he's obviously going to be more motivated, and you might get a different Buddy Hield. But this is what's going to happen, Reliable. You guys are going to be a great regular season team, probably the 1 seed or the 2nd seed. Because Russell Westbrook tries so hard in the regular season, because he's so good, LeBron will take a back seat and then rest till the playoffs because he'll be like, oh, I need some rest because Russell plays like it's his last day every game. It's crazy. But then
he's one of the GOATs.
Then during the playoffs, Russ is going to be expecting regular season LeBron, but LeBron's going to take over. And then Russ is going to shoot his mid-range shots, and then he's going to start bricking. And then Lakers fans are going to turn on Russell Westbrook like they did to Danny Green.
This is
it's going to be the same thing over and over again. And then they're going to lose. And then LeBron fans are going to blame the supporting cast. LeBron fans are going to say, oh, they didn't have enough around LeBron. And in reality, they did, but LeBron just didn't get it done. But I love LeBron, so he could get it done. He's that great.
Like, that's the most how do you make a point off of like predicting the future?
That's just gonna happen. It's
because we've seen it for so many years, 18 seasons.
Bro. Okay, it sounded like you were saying LeBron isn't a playoff player. That's pretty much what it sounded like you were saying.
No, I said Russell Westbrook isn't a playoff player, and Russ is gonna be pissed off because LeBron's gonna be getting all the touches.
He's been to the finals. He's been to the Western Conference Finals. He's accomplished things in the playoffs. He's not just like a playoff choker, dude. He wasn't
like Tracy McGrady getting eliminated in the first round every year.
Yeah, he's not just like a star who shits the bed in the playoffs.
I'm going to tell you this right now, Reliable.
Bro,
and you might totally disagree.
Okay.
But Derrick Rose played better last year in the playoffs than Russell Westbrook.
Bro, Russell Westbrook was on the Washington Wizards and was playing the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round. What do you want him to do? Turn into freaking Thanos?
Okay.
Bro,
his friend Buddy. His friend Bradley Beal played on Real, bro.
Last year shouldn't even be counted, bro. He was on the Washington Wizards.
Oh, okay.
But Bradley Beal did.
And also, it's
in that
not,
series.
Yeah, it's not. First of all, they got 4-1, so it's not like.
Yeah, and guess what? The one game they won, Joel Embiid was not on the floor. Just wanted to point that out.
This isn't about the Sixers right now.
That's true.
Bro, just put some respect on Russell Westbrook in the playoffs. All right, he's not a shitter in the playoffs. The point.
Yeah, but when he was good in the playoffs, that team was literally just him. His team literally has to be just him.
That's not, bro. Remember when KD Harden and Westbrook were like 24 years old and they were in the
that's
prime
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but it's still Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook's not in his prime, averaging a triple double.
Yeah, he's
every year.
Oh my god,
bro. Like we have 3 players who play good in the playoffs. Like obviously there's a chance.
Russell Westbrook does not play good in the playoffs.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't play good. When has he played good besides in OKC?
You got 1.5 players because you never know if you're going to get Anthony Davis either.
Anthony dated.
I was gonna make a comment about that.
It matters. So
Anthony dated.
I don't mean to sound like a hater, but I was gonna make a comment about that. Don't forget about LeBron's ankle injury. I know that he spends like $1 million on his body, but dude,
I got an ankle injury.
Sounds good. Come on.
Hey, hold on.
LeBron and Tom Brady, they got medicine and steroids that the government doesn't even have.
Also, it was a high ankle sprain.
You said it first, Ron.
It was a high ankle sprain that happened over a year ago. Literally,
I know, man, but
human anatomy literally tells you that it's fine now.
I know, man, but I'm a doctor, and what I was told was that that's not like an ankle injury that doesn't heal. You know, he didn't look 100% in that Sun series. Just saying.
Yeah, he wasn't, but it's been 5-6 months.
Can I give you guys my old man take on the Lakers? Let me just say this. Now, you guys can have the argument, whatever, but I'll just say this. Westbrook, MVP. Carmelo Anthony, Hall of Famer. Dwight Howard, Hall of Famer. Trevor Ariza won championships with Kobe Bryant. Rajon Rondo, Hall of Famer. That's got to mean something. A lot of personalities on this team, a lot of experience. It's got to mean something. I'm not saying they're going to win the championship.
A Western Conference Finals appearance and a big what if because they're going to lose in the Western Conference.
Can I throw out a stat real quick?
I can tell you what's going on right now.
Super Mario wants to talk.
No.
I got a quick stat.
Let me just summarize what's happening right now.
Fine.
Hold on, Super Mario. Hold on. Let Reliable go for it.
Me and Sunzik are agreeing we're winning franchises. These two on the bottom have
I did not say that.
The Sixers were the first seed last year.
Yeah, but now they have
Ben Simmons
still on the roster. That's all that matters. Ben Simmons still on the roster.
Dude, we got Tyrese Maxey, bro. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, the greatest of all time.
We're winning franchises, and they're two losing franchises jealous of our winning franchise.
I'm not jealous of winning, bro.
Hey, at least you guys have actually won championships.
Your take was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You're like,
dude, my take is gonna happen. It happens every year with the Lakers. I mean,
I'm gonna give you a stat real quick.
Hold on, Super Mario wants to.
All right,
he's got a stat, bro.
In 2004.
Oh my God.
The Lakers had Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, and Gary Payton, and they lost in the finals to the Pistons, an upset. Yep. 9 years later, in 2013, with Kobe, Dwight, Nash, Powell, they lost in the first round. It was an upset. What is 9 years after 2013? The 2021-2022 season, and they built the retirement home Lakers.
Oh my!
What did they say? They say history repeats itself.
Okay, let me look up the Lakers. Okay, look, 1 sec. When we first traded for Anthony Davis, we won a championship with mostly veterans off the bench. We were building a retirement.
But that was the bubble year as well. You got to keep that into account.
The bubble year doesn't count.
You know that. You could just instead of doing that, let's just look at the player. Carmelo Anthony averaged 14, 15 points. He's still a solid basketball player.
He gave up 20 points per game last year.
Yeah, he's not the best on the defensive end, but I'm saying he's still a capable player on the offensive end. He's still a lethal shooter and scorer. Freaking Dwight Howard is a.
Oh, Dwight Howard's trash, bro. I watched him all last season. He's trash.
Rob, you know
he led the league in technicals for Christ's
sake. I'm going to interrupt this argument here. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing this name right. Han Sagan. I hope I said that right. I think he lives in Germany, so shout out to Germany because he's commented on my videos before and left the German flag. He says, "You tell these kids, Brandonian Lakers can play super ISO at 4 positions." Now in the playoffs, he donated $5 with a super chat.
LeBron ISO.
So shout out to him.
Anthony Davis ISO.
Westbrook.
And also, if you look at the 2013 Lakers roster, bro, when we traded for Steve Nash and we had freaking Antoine Jameson and like Nick Young, bro, like these are all players. Like Steve Nash was clearly he couldn't do much on the basketball court anymore. The players that we signed are still we know they're capable basketball players still. And like it's not like
just injuries.
Reliable, you're missing the point here. The reason
he was
you guys
an all-star before he got there.
The reason you guys won a couple years ago is because LeBron did LeBron things. I don't think it was necessary to go out and get Russell Westbrook because it's going to make it more complicated than it has to be. The formula for the Lakers is Anthony Davis being healthy and LeBron being LeBron. And getting shooters.
Okay, but
you don't add Russell Westbrook. It's just
as a winning franchise. as a general manager, you see your team lose in the first round, you're gonna make changes. So like,
why'd they lose?
Especially
AD
with LeBron
was unhealthy, and LeBron was unhealthy.
Yeah, I get
so
it.
was Chris Paul, and we went all the way to the finals.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you look at the other teams that are getting like the Nets and all the super teams that have formed around the league, and you need like Rob Pelinka feels the need to one up them. So I would
you should have got Reggie Bullock.
I just think like
we already had Reggie Bullock, and it was the most dog shit situation that ever worked.
I don't think it's like a thing necessarily against the Lakers, but just the league in general. Like seeing like Giannis and how he just won the championship, like he didn't leave or anything like that. Like I don't know. I just don't like the idea of like so many people like going to like team up and form like mega teams. It's just like kind of dumb in my opinion.
That's why we as fans have to declare Giannis as the best player in the NBA because he didn't stay, so other players could see that fans are recognizing his loyalty, and then they'll be like, let's stay.
I still roll with Kawhi was the best player before he got hurt in the playoffs. People forget though.
Yeah, he was killing it.
Kawhi. Like just to end this, all of our points are theoretical because nothing has happened yet to even prove.
Thank you for saying that.
Well,
Russell going to have another stream at the end of the season.
And
this is just us giving our opinion. This is just us giving our grades and thoughts. This is just a good time. You know, some arguments might get a little heated, but we're just having a good time here.
I'm here to argue.
The only thing Rob can be happy about right now is that they're getting some more money from Ben Simmons because he's missing training camp.
Ooh.
You know what? I was gonna do the Lakers first, but then Ron, had the technical issues or whatever. But you know what? We're gonna do the Lakers or the Sixers last. Excuse me. We're gonna go on to the Chicago Bulls. Okay. I'm sorry, Romp. I gotta torture you a little bit longer. My dogs are freaking out. By the way, sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear them. But yeah, Chicago Bulls. You know what? I'm a little confident in this team, but maybe it's just because it's on paper. Let's talk about their key rivals. They are in it to win it. And Super Mario Hoops 24, this is your category. DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, the GOAT, Derek Jones Jr., Tony Bradley. Who's the rookie? Ayo. How do you say that? Sumo.
Yeah.
I feel like this was an underrated pickup. Alize Johnson. They re-signed Javonte Green and Devin Dotson. They obviously lost Larry Markkinen, Thaddeus Young, et cetera, et cetera. So, Super Mario Hoops 24. Off-season grades. Thoughts on the Bulls off-season?
I mean, well, obviously I'm going to be biased, but
right.
I would give us an A- simply because I've seen for the last several years, we've just been so bad. And like to see something good, it's just like, all right, like now I'm kind of like on board. I think
you're in it to win it, man. And you have Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah. When we're going to have a full season of him, I think it's kind of like how when the Pelicans traded for Boogie and that first half year, they didn't make the playoffs. Then the next year, I mean, things started clicking. I think it'll kind of be a little bit like that. Adding DeRozan is going to be huge for really the whole team, but I think especially LaVine. I don't think people realize how underrated of a playmaker and facilitator DeRozan is. I remember he had one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios for so long in the season last year. And then adding even Lonzo Ball gives like a true point guard for Zach LaVine, which he hasn't had around him in like Chris Dunn and Kobe White. And that's another thing. Like Kobe White's not going to be available to start the year. So you might see like Dosunmu or who I'd like to see is like Devin Dotson.
I love him
as like the backup point guard. I mean, of course, we got Alex Caruso as well. And like that's great. I think his defense.
Good for defense. Yeah.
Caruso's going to be the backup point guard. You paid him 10 something million a year.
He's a point guard.
He'll be in the backup unit, but he could also
be like a combo guard.
Yeah, it could be.
But I would like for Devin Dotson to also get more minutes. The only thing I think I was a little upset about, well, I mean, I guess for the losses first, getting rid of Satoransky and Al-Farouq Aminu, like that was just like good. Getting rid of Denzel Valentine, he went to Cleveland. That's freaking good.
Daniel Tice, Garrett Temple. Like I didn't really name them because I was just like, whatever.
I didn't mind Tice. I didn't mind Temple.
I like Tice.
But like I feel like Tice wasn't really here long enough.
I want him on the Sixers.
Temple was he was good, but he also got like injured, which kind of sucks.
He's a journeyman too.
Right. And then Markkanen, I mean, I still believe in Markkanen. I think he'll be good, but it just wasn't going to work out for us on that team. The only thing, though, I think I was a little bit upset with is that recent trade that we made for to get Markkanen to Cleveland. I was kind of hoping we'd get Larry Nance instead of Derek Jones Jr. I think that would have been even better, and it would have been like, wow, like we just had like an A+ offseason. But I don't know. I mean, Derek Jones Jr., I don't know how he's really going to be utilized. He's kind of smaller, but I guess he could play like a small ball 4, but I don't know about that. Other than that, though, I think, like an A- offseason, and I think we'll be pretty good.
Romp 2.0. What do you think of the Bulls offseason? Didn't you make a video on the Bulls?
Yeah, I like the Bulls a lot.
Yeah.
I low-key think they could finish top 3, but I didn't want to say it because it's kind of bold.
I agree with that.
We could.
I think they're better than the Hawks.
Ooh, hot take. Hot take.
I agree with that.
I think they're better than – the only teams I don't think they're better than in the regular season is the Nets, obviously. The Heat.
And the Bucks.
And the Bucks. Sixers and Boston up in the air. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think they could finish top 3.
Come on. Boston's better than right now. It's not.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I think we're more likely to be better in Boston than Philly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can't put them. Let's let you do.
Alex Caruso, that's an underrated pickup because the Bulls have been trash at defense and just giving effort. And Alex Caruso will actually give effort. You know, some nights he'll look like a white dude. You know, he'll make mistakes and he'll be like, "Why is he in the NBA?" But then other nights he'll be diving on loose balls, pumping up Zach LaVine to play defense. And also Zach LaVine, he's gonna average 30. And be an MVP candidate.
Hot take alert number 2. Hot take alert. I love it, man. What about Reliable? What do you think of the Bulls offseason?
So this is my thing. I loved almost like pretty much everything you did this offseason, besides the Markkanen trade. I think it was a L because I just think his value is worth more than Derek Jones Jr. live protector. But this is the thing. Like, this is the thing about this, and this is why I hate the NBA and how it works. This team is so good, and I know Bulls fans are so happy that they're good. But it's never going to win a championship. Like, the way this team is constructed is like, and that's the goal of basketball. This team is not going to beat some of the more elite teams in the NBA, but it's a very good team, and I love the way it's constructed. I love Lonzo and Zach and DeMar all paired with each other. I think Vucevic is great, but bro, it's not going to get over the edge is my thing. And I love Patrick Williams too. It's a great team, and it's like I'm so proud of the Bulls for actually doing this. But like, it's just not at that tier 1 of NBA.
Can I cut you off real quick, Reliable? Just keep in mind, it is the first year of this. We don't know what they're going to look like. I get what you're saying, but I mean, I
also don't think Billy Donovan is a capable champion coach.
That's what's tricky about this show at this time is we obviously don't know anything. You know, we can give all of our hot takes. I know you do, Rob. we can give all of our hot takes and our analysis and all that. But we just don't know. I do think it is going to take a little bit of time for the Bulls. I think they're going to be really good. Sorry to cut you off, Reliable. Did you have anything
I think they're
else?
going to be really good. They're going to be a really good team. Like, I agree with Rob. They're probably going to be top 3, top 4 in the East.
Yeah.
But it's like you used up all your cap space, and like, is this team really going to get to the goal? Like, Bulls fans are going to be happy for the next like 5 years.
Facts.
And I'm like, so
that's true.
View it as a W or an L, but like,
dude,
I don't know. That's just my thought.
The Hawks made the conference finals.
For right now, it's a W because we've just been
Bulls
bad
can make it this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Right? Yeah, it's 100% a W. But I mean,
our first week of the season isn't that bad though. Like we play I think the Pelicans, Pistons, and Raptors to open up. Like we could very well start off like 3-0, and maybe beat the Knicks. I mean that's iffy, but like so we could start like 3-0 or 4-0 or something. So that's like that could be a good start and could be good for the chemistry like going forward.
What?
Where did Reliable go?
I don't know. But so Kobe White's hurt or something? You said?
Yeah, he got
I saw that.
surgery. He's probably going to be out till like Christmas.
He might lose his spot. Devon Dotson might take his spot, bro.
Oh, I thought you meant
Did you make a video about
like,
Devon Dotson?
He already lost his spot.
Who?
Did you make a video about Devon, or are you just a fan of him?
No, I'm just a fan of him. I like him. I think he's good if he gets minutes.
Hometown kid too.
You think Matt Thomas will get minutes?
Is he Damian Dotson's brother? Or is that like not?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
You think Matt Thomas will get minutes just to be a 3-point shooter?
He might. I'm not sure.
Anything else on the Bulls? We can obviously come back to it.
I guess this might be a hot take, but I said this last year. Is okay. Like obviously, this isn't like the case with like how many he actually gets a game, but I think like Alex Caruso is like a better intangible rebounder than like 90% of the starting bigs in the league. Like, yeah, his size, like it doesn't, add up to that because he's like so small and he's a point guard. But like he's one of the best at like crashing the offensive glass as well.
Yeah, he did that a lot on the Lakers, and he's insanely athletic, as we know. So like, yeah.
I feel like he's
that's a stretch though.
No, he's like a more like I'm not saying he's a better rebounder than like your typical big because he's not going to get more rebounds than them. But I think like in terms of intangibles and like actually going for the rebound and like getting in a good position to like go get rebounds, and that could help us a lot, especially because I saw him do it so much on the offensive end. Yeah, and that could be like great for second chance points.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like an underrated.
I still think he was very overpaid.
Maybe, but
I have a hot take. I don't like a small hot take.
It's not as easy as the Lakers where everyone can sign for the minimum.
I think the popularity of Alex Caruso boosted his salary. I honestly think
no doubt.
Yeah.
No, I think just what coaches like he's every coach like that I've come across when I play, like they love that type of player just because you can put him anywhere. He's a plug and play and do anything,
And he plays defense.
He won't complain even if he's on the bench. Like he'll just go in and play hard and get offensive rebounds and do the little things that the stars don't want to do. That's why he's getting overpaid, I guess. But
yeah, he's not like a minimum player or anything like that.
No,
Maybe he's a little overpaid. And I think you're right in the sense where it's like because he's built so much of a reputation as like a meme or like I guess an icon like for the Lakers, like, and that's like the biggest, in
the top 10 for All-Star voting every year, and I'm not even joking.
Yeah. So like obviously like he's gonna get like more of that media attention than like literally any other role player in the league.
Right.
Unless like they're someone like overseas and they get like that all-star vote like you saw with Jeremy Lin and Zaza Pachulia for years. But I mean, that's about it.
Look at Roy's question.
Okay, and then we'll talk about the Sixers.
Nah, we don't got to do that.
So, Roy asked. Oh, I'm sorry, Roy. Do you think now we can't talk about
skip
other
over
teams.
humble like that?
Well, no, I was trying to. I saw two good questions. We kind of already talked about Thad Young earlier. Do you think the Warriors will be good or not?
No.
All depends on Klay Thompson's status.
150 million%.
Like, I mean, we don't know what Klay's going to look like. Two severe injuries.
Bro, this is not that hard. What was the team they went 73-9 with? Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. You have all of them back. The chances that they're a bad team are so low. Yeah, you just look at the three.
And they got a lot of young talent, too.
You look at now they got Wiggins, and now they got James Wiseman. They have better pieces than they had in 2015. Obviously, the three players have aged, but, bro, to say this team won't be good is, like, the most insane thing anybody could ever say.
I think you're underrating the bench from 2015.
Yeah.
Iguodala.
No, I get it.
And Barbosa.
My boy Barbosa.
They probably did have a better bench. That's not my point. I'm not saying they're going to go 73-9, but I'm just saying, like, they have the same head coach, same system. They have the three healthy stars. Like, it's going to be a really good team. I'm not saying it's going to be as good as that other team, but, bro, like, you can't say it's going to be a bad team.
I don't think Draymond can be called a star anymore.
Well, you know what I meant. Like, the three
they got maybe two. We still got to see, like, with Klay. Like, if he comes back the same player, then, yeah, they got, like, an elite backcourt. But it's hard to come back from an ACL and then an Achilles. I'm not trying to count him out because I've seen people say, like, oh, he's not going to come back the same. And I'm like, well, you haven't even seen him play yet. So
we've said that on so many players.
He's going to come back still very good at basketball.
Back the same.
I saw people do that for, like, so much time, like with Rose. Even before he came back from the ACL.
What the fuck? Yeah, but, bro,
what
like,
they need to do. You know what they need to do?
What's that?
They would be a championship team if they got
Trade
Ben
for
Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Yep, I knew
I'm
you were
not
going to
even
say
kidding.
that. I knew
If there was a team,
Nice
If there
segue
was
into
a
the
team-
Sixers talk.
if there was a team that could actually save Ben Simmons, is a team with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
And Steve Kerr is your head coach.
Literally, the only thing that Ben Simmons does.
Yeah, but that
good
won't
is
make
drive
Ben
and
Simmons a
pass.
shooter. The way to save Ben
He
Simmons
doesn't need to shoot.
Now
What
I
are you
got a
gonna
hot take.
Go to the Warriors and average 15,000 assists per game.
I got
Bro, the way to
low-key,
save Ben Simmons is going to be the same player on every team if he can't shoot the ball.
No,
I got a
little
with
bit of a hot
Steph and
take.
Klay, bro.
I think that the Portland Trailblazers are going to be a top 3 seed, and Damian Lillard's going to win MVP.
Okay, what are they going to do in the playoffs?
I don't know.
Whoa.
But I think they're going to be a top 3
If
seed
Chauncey Billups is a good coach, I agree.
because
I
I think
think Dame
Dame
could
is
win
going to
MVP.
have like a 2008 type of Kobe season. Where remember when he it seemed like he wanted out, like he requested the trade, and it seemed like he was kind of discontent. I feel like Dame is kind of like on the fence right now with this franchise, but like he's made so many like even Instagram posts like, "May this season be my best season," like, and he seems like he's totally locked in. And they also got that consistency factor too. Everyone's sleeping on them because they haven't added many new faces other than like Larry Nance and like Tony Snell. But yeah, I think that they are going to be a lot better.
They're not going to be
than
a top 3 seed in the West, dude.
I can't see them
Just
being a
wait,
top
they will.
3 seed. That's
You think-
insane,
okay, I have a
man.
question. I know
I
you're
don't
going to
think
be.
people realize how bad Stotts was.
Yeah, I know.
He
But,
was
like,
he was terrible.
bad.
Don't disrespect my boy, Ron.
And,
Bro,
and Suns,
all right.
you remember
Tell me
this too,
this.
but like they
Suns
were
beat,
the
come on.
Blazers at the start of the year. The top 4 seeds were like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Suns, and the Blazers.
The
You
Clippers are
remember
out of
that,
it.
right?
No
For
Kawhi.
so long, and then they started falling down, especially when Dame got hurt, and then like they had to kind of climb back up a little bit and barely squeak out of the play-in. So I don't
But,
know.
like,
I
this is
think
my
they're-
thing. Let me ask you a question. Just no scaredness.
Go ahead.
Do you think they'll be better than the Suns in the regular season?
The Suns?
Yeah.
No.
Wait, who? Portland?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, hell
They'll
no.
be-
I got a hot
they'll be
take. I got a hot
They'll be
take.
close.
I got a
See,
hot
I think
take.
the Suns are going to be top 3 too, so that's why I'm like on the fence.
I got a hot take.
Go ahead.
The Suns are going to be the first seed, and I would bet $1,000 on it. No, I wouldn't do that, but I would bet.
I would bet
like
you $1,000 on it right now.
I'll bet you
Clip that,
$5.
clip
I'll do
that.
it. I'll do it.
I think the Suns are
Um,
going to easily be the first team in the West, just because
Yeah, I
they got
can agree with that.
they got the chemistry,
Rom's doing everything he
And,
can to not talk about the Sixers.
dude. I will talk about the Sixers. Let's go talk about the Sixers. What do you?
No.
what do you got
Let's
for
keep
me?
talking about the Suns being the number 1 seed for a minute. You got
First of all, the Utah Jazz are going to be like this 5 through 8. That's another hot take for you.
Ooh.
Nah, bro,
Right, and then
I think
Donovan
it's
Mitchell
big.
will be asking out, and he's going to join the Philadelphia 76ers.
Holy bro, you guys are so like dumb.
He would never join Ben Simmons.
You guys are like stupid as shit.
Dude, I need
He's
like
not
a
coming
hot
back,
take graphic sound. Like, this is insane. We should have just done a hot take show.
He'd join Ben Simmons and they'd have like a fight to the death or something.
Seriously.
Bro, how like okay, look, this is my thing. The Jazz are the same team, like the most insane regular season team ever. They've stayed the same this year. How do you think they're going to get so much worse?
Because they're the same.
But when the same
See,
is like
that's-
top 2 seed in the
no.
West. The same is
Because-
top 2 seed in the West.
Because
And now
it's
no
just
Clippers.
it's just like Donovan Mitchell's in his head. He's like, "Oh, we got the same team. We got the same team." He's like,
What the
"Oh, come on, we got the same team. Like,
But I
we
think,
ain't gonna win a championship."
How are you
with the
predicting
same
people's
team."
mental like
I
processing?
don't know. I think
Because
one of
that's how
these
I
years,
predict, man.
I don't know if it's going to be this year, but I think one of these years soon, the Jazz are going to go all the way. Because
No
Donovan Mitchell is
shot.
one of those players.
Bro,
He's
you're
one of those
no,
guys.
hell to the no.
He has like one of the best mentalities in the league.
Yeah,
Like,
he's got a
he's-
great
he-
mentality, but he's got a trash teammate and Rudy
It
Gobert
doesn't
next to him.
matter. He's going to will his team there. And he's got some play like
Wait, I don't think we should
bad.
dispute
That's what I'm saying about Joel Embiid's gonna win.
Ron
his
just
team
called
too.
Rudy
They've been
Gobert
injured.
trash. We just heard that, right? He just called Rudy Gobert trash.
He's not trash, but he's like
He's
He's
exposed.
defensive player of the
he's just
year.
an annoying second option. You know,
He
like
also
He's
caused
exposed Rudy
COVID.
Gobert.
he's just annoying. You know, like
Look, they're not a
yeah.
championship team, but they're definitely not a 5 seed. They're an insane regular
5
season
through
team.
8th seed.
Rudy Gobert saw.
Because Mike Conley, he's old. He could get injured. Rudy Gobert. I feel like Mitchell's over Rudy Gobert, to be honest.
Oh, he's way over him.
Like he's and their coach is trash too, because even though Rudy Gobert was exposable, he did nothing to help Rudy Gobert out. So
I was gonna
he deserves a lot more.
I was going to ask, how much longer do you kind of keep this Jazz core and Quinn Snyder together? Like, is Quinn Snyder kind of getting, not like hot seat, but like, you know, maybe if they don't make it this year, you know,
I think there's a new generation of coaching, honestly. I think a lot of these coaches who have been known as good coaches, like Billy Donovan was such a good on the Thunder. Like Terry Stotts was a good coach for a period of time. Like there's a new generation. There's a new generation of coaching in the NBA. Like I just think, like Quinn Snyder, I think he won Coach of the Year one year.
Yeah, all the off-season signings for coaches this year. There's lots
like,
of new
dude, I
think there's going to be coach the Hawks in like the mid 2000s.
Can we get a new?
I don't know.
A new generational talent coach at the Sixers, please.
There's new systems. There's new everything. I think the NBA is due for a new change in staff in general.
All right, Romp, it's time. If you want to take a deep breath before we talk about this. The Sixers off season. Should I even read like what they did? Like
no.
Let me just start with the positives. Extensions. Joel Embiid, 4 years, $196 billion for Joel Embiid. Romp, I know your grade is probably like a D- or an F, but what's your grade? You know, I know you've talked about it on your channel and your Sixers channel with Steven. Like, what's going on, man? Just talk to us.
I mean, Ben Simmons, it's tough.
I wish we would have been doing this show knowing like the future of Ben Simmons. You know, like
let's try to use other words.
Right.
Daryl Morey's an idiot.
Not doing anything.
He's an idiot.
We need to
fire Daryl Morey. We need to fire Elton Brand. We need to fire Doc Rivers. And the thing about it, I hate the narrative that Doc Rivers was this amazing coach in the regular season. The only reason we were the 1 seed is because of Joel Embiid. We were 39-12 with Joel Embiid and 10-11 without him. So this narrative that Doc Rivers was the deserved to be coach of the year is bullshit.
But I think he did a good job with Joel Embiid.
No, he didn't. He did a terrible job. He played all bench lineups and then he played it in the postseason.
Yeah, but Brett Brown did not let Joel Embiid do his shit thing.
Well, a lot of the reason Joel Embiid had a great year is because he's failed so many times in the past. So he kind of built up. He was just working, and finally they got like got a cohesive roster around Joel Embiid.
It looked good during the regular season.
Yeah, but you can't have one player do that much in the postseason. It's just not gonna. Even if he's freaking Michael Jordan, you know, it's just especially with Joel Embiid's health. You know what I'm saying? You need to have. Better
LeBron
players.
brought the Cavs to the finals and won.
Well, that's LeBron James, bro. As much as I love Joel Embiid, he's not LeBron James. Yo, Joel, you didn't hear that, but but it don't matter because I'm just excited for Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid.
The future of the Sixers.
I don't think Joel Embiid has reached his ceiling. I think without Ben Simmons on the court, everything becomes better for the Sixers. Besides the defensive end of the floor, even though I think he's overrated on that end of the floor, but I'll give Ben Simmons. He's a good defender. But Tyrese Maxey, he started 8 games last year, averaged 18 points a game. He works every goddamn day, and it's not like Ben Simmons working every day. It's actually working. He's gonna be averaging like 19 points if he starts, because Doc Rivers, I don't know. Doc Rivers is weird. And for some reason didn't play him last year, even though he had a 39-point game against the Nuggets. Let's not play him.
And Shake Milton.
And Shake Milton could have a bounce-back year. Everything becomes better without Ben Simmons because, let me tell you this, everyone on the Sixers is sick of Ben Simmons. Like, imagine having a max contract player not shooting as a point guard. Like, that's got to be a locker room issue. There's been rumors that people hate him in the locker room. Stories fluttered every now and again. So it would just help the team overall, in my opinion.
Super Mario Hoops, what are your thoughts about the Sixers?
I mean, in terms of like what they lost, losing like Dwight Howard, I think that
George Hill.
Okay. George Hill, I think maybe is a little bit worse. I feel like he didn't really get much
time.
chance like that
Yeah.
could do much there. So it's like it's kind of hard to gauge that. Signing Embiid to an extension is good because it seems like they're kind of bought into like him long term, and I mean, but this whole Ben Simmons thing, like it kind of like has to end.
That's the dark cloud over the team right now.
You don't want to get into like a situation with like Jimmy Butler in Minnesota where like things just get so toxic. So like they kind of need to do something sooner than later, but they still got to get like a decent trade, but you got to be realistic too. Like I don't know exactly how true all the rumors are, but like I saw one, I think, where it was like they requested for like 4 or 5 picks from the Spurs, and then DeJounte Murray and Derek White, and I'm like, dude, you're never getting that for Ben.
Like first of all, I would do DeJounte Murray for Ben Simmons straight up.
I don't know if I'd do that if I'm the Spurs.
Bro, DeJounte Murray is so fucking good, dude.
Well, even though like Ben is probably, I don't know how Ron's going to take this, but even though Ben is probably more impactful and better than DeJounte Murray, he's still so good enough to the point where it's like you just don't let a player like that go. See, it's like after what like Luka and Trae Young have proven for their own teams, I don't know if they do that trade again because like, like after you've already seen how much they've each contributed for each other's teams, like would you risk like trading them back and then like it kind of messes with like the chemistry and the rhythm of the
team? How does that relate to the Ben Simmons point?
Well, because like who was the team that you just said like that was would be traded with or something?
Spurs?
Oh yeah, Spurs.
Yeah, like I feel like they've already seen like out of DeJounte Murray like what they're like looking for, and I think that they're going to like be around him long term is the plan. So a guy like Ben Simmons, I mean, if it was a guy like Curry or like Dame or like some superstar level player, then sure. But like Ben Simmons at this point is like an all-star level player. Like he's not one of them. So I don't think like, you might make a slight improvement like in terms of what he can do for your team, but like it's not really worth it considering like what DeJounte Murray's already done for you at this point. And it could like mess up with the rhythm as well and the chemistry. Like even Romp said, like how people on the Sixers, like they've been talking like how it's kind of like negative energy in the locker room with him. So I don't know if I'd do that like straight up. But like their additions, like Drummond, Yorgis Yang, I've been critical on both. So I don't think really either of those are going to be great. I think it's bad that they could if they do put Ben Simmons and Andre Drummond out there together, then it's like teams would literally have a choice on who to hack. Like
Ben's not coming back.
The chances that Ben Simmons plays a game with the Sixers this year are low.
Well, no, he's not.
We'll see what happens. The balls. I think Korkmaz bringing him back is good. Danny Green. I
like Danny Green.
Like, loves Kirk.
He's kind of on the fence. I mean, he was okay, I guess.
Furkan is like life, right, Ron?
I love
Furkan. I like Furkan. I think he's pretty solid. But overall, like, they just didn't do much, and there's still like a big cloud hovering over them and like a big question mark. So it's like,
I think
I don't know. Like, I gotta give him like an F or like a D-.
First of all, can someone clear this up? Is Ben Simmons really doing this thing where he's just like protesting against everything Sixers?
Because he's a baby.
No, but like, is that true? Like, he's actually doing this. Like, he's really gonna get fined.
Well, Maury thinks he's gonna come back because he won't.
We'll never know because the media lies too.
Yeah,
all the time.
But like the thing is, it's just like, bro, like.
He could just have a problem, or maybe he like said something to his agent, and then his agent like screwed up like translating the message or something like that in like a toxic way. Like you never know like what the media is going to say. They tried making it seem like Kawhi was like this toxic teammate, like when he was holding out for an injury. I'm like, dude, he's injured. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, the guy that never talks to the media, now he's toxic. Like, so I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell. I mean, based on like what we've seen though, and I've kind of seen like you can kind of get a feeling for his attitude, like especially when he's on the court and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, you might lean toward it a little bit, but I wouldn't like be 100% like believe in that stuff.
Like when it comes to trading, like bro, like people know Ben Simmons still has value. It's about Daryl Morey not being a freaking dumbass and finding a middle ground. Like you got to understand, you're not going to get 4 first-round picks and an emerging superstar for Ben Simmons. You just got to understand that if you're going to trade Ben Simmons, which you probably will, you're going to get something. Maybe I'd say like maybe 2 first-round picks, or maybe like a player like I don't know, like a Markelle Fultz, and a couple first-round picks or something. Like you're not going to get like what
Markelle Fultz back to the Sixers.
Markelle Fultz.
That's not true. That's not true.
You're trying to like.
I said a player like Markelle Fultz.
It's kind of weird.
I still believe in Markelle Fultz
because I was like literally gonna bring up something with him, but like I think it's just the fact that like especially with
Markelle Fultz back
the whole situation and like how like you look at him now, like yeah, he's not perfect or anything, but how is it that a guy who it seemed like completely forgot to shoot because he had a pinched nerve in his shoulder, but now he's figured out how to shoot better than Ben Simmons over all this time. Like he was a great shooter in college. I don't think people really recognize that a lot. Then he forgot how to shoot.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Markelle Fultz.
Oh, my bad.
And then he had the pinch nerve in his shoulder and then completely refigured out how to shoot, all in a time where Ben Simmons hasn't equipped a jump shot in the NBA.
The Sixers are
and
cursed,
I think that's
bro.
like the biggest thing for me where it's like what's going on there? I mean, like
Philadelphia's cursed.
Has happened. Yeah,
bro, Philadelphia's cursed. What do you mean? Look at the Eagles even. It's Carson Wentz.
Bro, Jalen
Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey, Jalen Hurts looks so good though. He's on my fantasy team.
But dude, if Simmons has the balls to come back in front of the fans,
he's going to get booed every single day.
I'll respect him.
That's not true.
But he won't.
He won't get booed every single round.
Yes, he will.
I doubt he'll get booed like that.
If he misses,
Romp, tell him. You're the Sixers fan. You tell him.
Romp, let me know this. Let me ask you a question.
What are you asking?
Deep down, I know you still have love for Ben Simmons.
Hell no, bro.
Yes, you do, bro.
Dude.
Yes, you
no,
do.
I honestly personally.
You want me to pull up
him.
all the videos of you wearing a Ben Simmons jersey and saying, "He's gonna win MVP"?
That jersey's in the trash. And I personally hate Ben Simmons. I've never personally hated a player. And I don't know Ben Simmons, but I don't care. I personally hate him, and I hope he fails.
All right, what if he comes back and drops another 40-point game like he did in the middle of the regular season?
I don't care. I'm not falling for it because he only cares about
consistency.
Stats, bro. The only reason he did that is to make the All-Star team. And then once the All-Star team was over, he started being trash again. And then once the playoffs came around, he was a baby and was like, I'm not shooting. Dude, it's one thing if you fail in Philadelphia. No one cares. No one's talking about Tobias Harris shit in the bed because he actually tried and failed.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Durant said, he was asked after the game when he was like, someone said, "Did you choke or something?" And Kevin Durant was like, "I didn't choke. Choking's when you don't shoot. That's choking." And that's what Ben Simmons did. He didn't shoot. He didn't even try.
He dropped like 50.
I can't believe you guys baited me into a Ben Simmons rant because I don't even have the
mission accomplished.
I don't even care anymore.
You've changed your opinion on Ben throughout the years. You've changed your opinion on Ben Simmons like 72 times.
Yeah, but every like if I'm being real, like I was always a negative Ben Simmons guy for like 2 straight years. If he had a good game, I would give him his props.
And in all fairness, Romp, you know this.
But I've called this.
Hey, when I think of Denzel Valentine, I just think of that game winner he hit in the summer league. That's all I really think about.
When I think of Denzel Valentine, I think of that stupid shot that he took against the Heat last year or whatever.
You guys would have made the playoffs.
That's all Denzel Valentine is. He's a walking stupid shot, pretty much, right?
He's a walking idiot. As simple as that.
The last thing I'll say on the Sixers, and Romp, you know this. Shout out to our guy, Philly Take with RB. That was one of the true Ben Simmons believers up until the playoffs, and he changed his tune on Ben Simmons. And now he hates him and he wants him gone. So, just saying, on the whole, like you changed your opinion on him. I've changed my opinion on players. It's like everyone's got their own opinion. That's what this whole show's about. I don't know. I got some final questions for you guys. Maybe we could do like 1-word answers or 1-sentence answers, or we could just go for another hour. Let me see. What is your most optimistic take for your team? We'll start with the reliable rants. Your most optimistic take.
Win a championship. I mean, isn't that the only?
And everything goes smooth with Westbrook and LeBron.
I mean, that's the most optimistic take. I mean, that's for everybody, right? Win a championship, isn't that the most optimistic take?
Well, I don't know. I mean, me and you, our teams are. But
I mean, yeah. if we're breaking it down, everything works. Everything goes to plan. Frank Vogel gets out of his stupid widow's peak off his head and stops being an idiot, and everything goes to plan. That's the optimism, right?
Right. Okay, then I guess this question's really for Romp 2.0. What's the most optimistic take for your team, Romp? Like, what's the most optimistic thing that could happen to the Sixers right now?
Joel Embiid is MVP and Maxey is fringe all-star level.
Bro, it's a team. It's not a player thing.
Well, no, I mean, that's he can break it down like that.
Ben Simmons is traded for D'Angelo Russell.
Woo.
I never heard that one before.
I don't know if that'll work.
That's fair though.
It's 20 points right there.
Have fun if he played with D'Lo.
D'Lo and Malik Beasley.
Nah, you wouldn't get Beasley too, bro. Beasley's really.
Yeah, we would. Bro, this is Ben Simmons we're talking about, bro.
Yeah, the Timberwolves are done with that, so.
I don't understand, dude. A lot of people say like the Sixers are being like over the edge or whatever, but like there's Timberwolves fans being like, "Oh, I'm not trading D'Lo and Malik Beasley." Like, dude.
Well, they have nothing.
Yeah,
the T-Wolves are literally like, "What are you guys doing?"
Timberwolves
like,
haven't been to the playoffs.
Same with
like
the Sacramento
14
Kings.
years.
There's
They're
people
like
saying
the second worst.
The Timberwolves in the playoffs like 4 years ago. Bro.
Sacramento Kings are like, "Oh,
Really?
we can't trade Tyrese Halliburton." It's like, dude, you guys.
That's insane.
Nah, bro. Halliburton is. I wouldn't trade Halliburton for Ben Simmons.
You wouldn't trade him for Ben Simmons?
No, I wouldn't.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Are you
trying to where Tyrese Halliburton is, bro?
Tyrese Halliburton isn't going to get you over the hump.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Simmons
He's not going to get you to the hump.
It's better than Tyrese Halliburton and freaking wasting De'Aaron Fox. At least try something new. And
bro, De'Aaron Fox and Ben Simmons would literally be. You'd be watching a stage and then just humans made out of shit. It'd just be a shit show. It'd literally just be a show made of shit.
Yeah,
Ben Simmons in Sacramento, bro. He doesn't want to go to Sacramento. Perfect for me.
That's a Cali team, though. That's one of the Cali teams he wants.
You can argue that Tyrese
don't want to go there.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he does.
Last year.
He wants to go, LA, bro.
Well, I think he said the 3 teams because I think he realizes like he can't go to the Lakers because like they literally can't trade anyone except like.
Oh yeah.
LeBron, AD, or Westbrook.
Also,
why would they do that? So.
Also, I just want to say the Sixers, if they stand pat and make Ben Simmons come back, it's low key a win for like general managers because Ben Simmons having the worst playoff disappointment of all time, and then having the ability to request a trade and demand where to go, like that's way too much power.
Bro, you know what this reminds me of?
Especially with his agent, Rich Paul, I think.
That's why I think Maury's like, dude, you
know, it'd be the biggest W, though, is that if they got Ben Simmons to come back, like you said, and then he plays with them till or at least for some time, at least after the restricted free agents deadline. And then he builds up his value again. People are forgetting about this Ben Simmons hatred. And then, boom, you trade him.
Yeah, but
that would be a very optimistic.
That would be the best thing. It would
right?
I saw something on Instagram yesterday.
No one's going to talk about it anymore.
Bro, I saw a Brandon Ingram Ben Simmons trade. What do you think about that?
Oh, give me that 100%.
Hey,
Brandon Ingram, bro.
Yes,
please.
sir. That's my boy.
He's overrated.
Pelicans underrated, low key.
Bro, Super Mario, shut the hell up, bro. Get a vibe going.
He is though. Brandon Ingram
not overrated. Who rates him high?
Brandon Ingram and D'Angelo Russell are 2 players that got lucky one year.
Oh, come on.
Bro, shut the hell up.
They are not.
You're hating, bro.
No, we're not doing this right now. We're not doing this right now.
I said this about D'Lo, and he hasn't been it since. I said this about Wiggins his whole career. He could never be an all-star, and I'm saying it again.
Well, whenever
Wiggins had a good season last year.
I'm saying it about Jalen Green too. You can say whatever you want about that.
He hasn't even
We're
played.
attacking the rookies now.
I know.
We're attacking the rookies.
He's not going to be what he's hyped up to be.
You don't like Cooper. Super Mario, you don't like Coopers, bro.
I might have to mute Super Mario for a minute here. I mean,
Super Mario, bro.
We're attacking the rookies here. We just got to calm down.
You probably suck at basketball, bro.
Saying. Whoa, we got to mute reliable rants now.
Dude, that's messed up, bro.
Bro, I'm just saying. Okay, look.
I didn't know I could.
My mute button didn't work.
Dude, I got Super Mario posting you up, bro.
I'm
sorry. I gotta. Why can't I mute 2 people at the same time? What the hell?
That's what I'm saying. Romp just said it. You pretty much just, bro. You don't like hoopers. You're probably not a hooper.
That's a Twitter meme.
That's just my thoughts.
That's fair. I mean, I just don't see it in Jalen Green. I don't think it's going to happen the way everyone thinks it's going to.
I'm attacking your D'Angelo Russell.
Go ahead.
Last year, the Timberwolves had a good record with D'Lo and Cat.
They played like what 5 games?
They played.
Bro,
They were 13 and 12.
Brandon Ingram.
They didn't play that much.
I feel so bad for Karl Anthony Towns.
D'Lo was good with the Warriors when he was healthy. It's just that he's been injured.
Facts.
D'Angelo Russell's a very good basketball player, bro. Come on now.
I'm not saying he's not good. I just
and
think
he
that
cooked Ben Simmons 2 games in the playoffs.
I'm
not. They're both probably. I think I'd rather have both of them. I don't know. I don't want to say something like that because I don't know if it's true. But I think that both of them are at least good enough that you could offer like a 1-for-1 swap with Ben Simmons. So like, I'm not saying that they can't be. I just don't think that those guys would be great. I think like, and I mean, it's not going to happen now, but if you were to pair like a Damian Lillard with Joel Embiid, that would be good. Or like they had a chance at Harden last year and they missed.
Bro, that would be insane.
Well, when the Blazers shit the bed in the beginning of the season, that's going to happen.
I think I honestly think if Daryl Morey offered,
they got him. You should be voting as Damian Lillard, one of your favorite players. You should be voting for the Blazers to suck because that's the only way.
No, because
Dame is going to request.
I would literally
my first priority with my favorite players is I would prefer for them to win where they are. So if there's any chance that Portland's still going to be like a decent team and they're actually going to figure it out, then I want them to win there because then it looks the best. I was happy when Giannis did this past year. Yeah, maybe
if I became the Sixers GM, the first thing I would do is offer Ben Simmons and the rest of my picks for Damian Lillard. That'd literally be the first thing.
We wouldn't be able to do that because Dame doesn't want to leave.
Yeah, but I'd offer it.
They could
offer it and you'd be like, hell no.
It's possible, bro. It's literally
You think Daryl Morey didn't already do that? He literally risked his entire offseason for Dame.
Not knowing that he offered Ben that he wants 4 first-round picks and DeJounte Murray and Derek White for him. So, no.
I feel like in like 5 years, we're going to like hear a story like the Sixers offered this and that for Damian Lillard or something like that. And secrets are going to come out. I don't know.
Suns Geek hasn't really said anything this entire live stream.
I was going to say that too. I'm actually glad. You want to know why? I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to jinx Phoenix Suns, but we spent 10 minutes on the Suns because they went to the NBA Finals and won 2 games in the finals after being in the lottery for 10 years. Okay. Woo! So I'm glad. All right. I'm so happy for the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to be cocky all season. The Suns are going to win the championship. That's my hot take. We're gonna keep continuing on here. We can kind of speed this up if you guys want. Now this is on the spot. Records prediction, like an over under for your team. I'll start because I kind of asked people this on my Twitter and Instagram, which by the way, follow me. Links down below in the description. I think the Suns now. It was ESPN, of course, because ESPN hates us. They thought we were going to win 51 games, the same amount of games we won this season. I think we at least win 53 to 55 games. That's my over for the Suns. Romp, with or without Ben Simmons, how many games are the Sixers winning?
All right, so Vegas has us at 45.5. Oh, I
Does
like
that get you to the playoffs?
What do you mean? That's a 4th seed, buddy.
Especially in the East.
Are you disrespecting?
In the West, I mean, you guys would be like 7 seed.
I don't know why you guys are worried about the Sixers in the regular season. Like, we're going to be fine in the regular season.
Bro, I agree with that 100%.
Like, we have Joel Embiid. Like,
45 just seems low. I don't know.
Maybe I'm
too cocky.
That is pretty low.
No, the Brooklyn Nets are 45.5 right here.
Ooh. What the hell?
VegasInsider.com, bro.
Here, put the link in the
Milwaukee Bucks are 49.5. Man, they're really.
Jeez, no wonder ESPN had the Suns only winning 51. Like the Bucks just won the championship. How are they going to win 49 games?
There's no way that can't be real.
Lakers
I do think the competition.
Romp, you're looking at last year.
That's so stupid.
I do think the competition is a lot better this year. And I think teams will struggle. I think some of the worst teams in the league will beat the best teams in the league throughout the season. But
2020, that's good. Yeah,
even if the Suns win 50 games, I'll be happy. I don't care.
I got an Odd Shark betting odds thing with it.
Put that for the Bulls.
Well, with all the teams, they have the Bulls at 42.5, and that's straight up disrespectful.
Over.
And I want to find
Over.
whoever wrote this article and have
I
a
think
strict meeting with
45 at lowest, right? Like 45 would be lowest.
I think, well, personally for me, I think, well, best case scenario would be like we win 52 games. I don't expect that.
Right.
Worst case
that'd be an
scenario,
overachievement, in my opinion.
Worst case scenario, I think we're at least 500.
Right.
But I think a reasonable pick would be 47 or 48 wins.
Oh, look at this. The Sixers and Suns have the same odds. 51.5 for both. That's crazy. And the Sixers actually have better odds.
Reliable. What about you? What's your like over under for your guys' wins this year?
I think the worst case scenario is worst of the worst. This meaning like, I mean, look, we can't like say injuries. I say if
injuries aside, injuries don't exist.
I say we're fully healthy. The worst case scenario is 45 wins, 44 wins
for the Lakers.
52.5 is
that makes sense if they're
the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said I'm
Are
stupid.
you saying
sorry.
over 52.5 or under 52.5 reliable?
I think if my exact prediction is we win 51 games, so under. If I'm just being honest, like I just don't think the regular season is going to be where we strive right now. Just knowing how.
Oh my god! I just figured out the easiest bet of your life. Jazz 52 over under. Under. Put the house in it.
The Jazz are a regular season team. They've proved out over and over again.
Yeah,
That's the
but I'm
stupidest thing
telling
you
you,
can
this
actually.
ain't the year. They're gonna get
What,
sick
you
of
just
each
have like
other.
spiritual.
Mike gonna be a shell of
hate
himself.
too much on the Jazz.
I'm not hating on the Jazz. Rob is hating on the Jazz.
Okay, in the bubble, they didn't have Bojan Bogdanovic, and they missed Conley for half that series. And then last year, Mike Conley was hurt too, and he was literally an all-star.
I just hate that.
He was an all-star.
But should he have been an all-star? I was
regardless on whether or not you think that he was still an all-star and he was still playing great, and he only played
so was
one
Devin
game.
Booker, and he didn't get selected. He had to get in because Anthony Davis got hurt.
Well, no one said that though, because Devin Booker
How
was
did Mike
playing.
Conley be an all-star?
Exactly.
Let's talk
That's what
about
I'm saying.
that.
I know. I'm like, that's so
Well,
ridiculous.
Mike hates the Jazz even more, bro.
I never saw a less deserved all-star in Mike Conley than when I saw Jeff Teague in 2015.
Bro, it's because the Hawks had like
Kyle
the Hawks won like 70 games that
Well,
season.
Mike Conley should have been an all-star way before this.
Was Jeff Teague ever a Sun?
They got the Golden State Warriors at 48.5. Damn.
Under.
Yeah.
All right.
Was Jeff Teague ever a Sun? Like for 1 year, maybe.
Who?
Jeff Teague.
No.
There's so many players that are like Suns for like 10 games and then just leave.
We're gonna close out on this, and we'll kind of try to keep it short here. What teams are we overlooking? And then follow-up question: what is like an under the radar team? I can probably just name a few. Maybe the Nuggets, Clippers, maybe the Warriors, who we kind of talked about earlier. Like, are we sleeping on these teams?
How are the Nuggets? Never mind.
I mean,
You're sleeping heavy on the Clippers.
That's why I'm asking. Like,
yeah, I mean, but
what teams are we sleeping on
for the first year of the
got
season?
Jason Preston, bro.
I'm gonna give it a hot take. Paul George will finish top 4 in MVP.
Dude, dude, you stole my.
What about like, I don't know. I'm just throwing names out here. Like the Knicks. Are we sleeping on the Knicks? What about?
They're gonna be
They were great in the season last year. They just failed in the playoffs.
I think the Cavs
they weren't a 4 seed, and that with my guy D Rose, they wouldn't have had the best winning percentage in the
That's
Eastern
why you're high on
Conference.
the Knicks.
No, it's true though. With Derrick Rose, the Knicks had the best winning percentage in the Eastern Conference last year, and that's just facts. And now you add Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. You brought back Noel. You're going to get Mitchell Robinson back. That's a good team.
I agree with that.
But the East has improved a lot, in my opinion.
I think the Cavs can be an 8 seed.
They'll have a better record than the Hawks. Again, the Knicks.
I agree with that.
Wait,
I think the
reliable. You said the Cavs are going to be the 8 seed.
I think they can make the playoffs. The Cavs.
I'm glad you said that. I'm a believer in the Cavs too.
No, I got you guys for the most slept on team in the league.
Who?
The Suns.
This team will make the playoffs. I'm not saying they'll do anything but that.
What team?
The New Orleans Pelicans.
Bro, I'm not
Devontae Graham, Zion, Brandon
Back.
Ingram, Josh Hart, Jonas Valanciunas, and then we got Trey Murphy, one of the better rookies.
And we have
I like the Pelicans
Kyra
too.
Lewis Jr., and then you actually have a good coach in Willie Green now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Former Suns assistant coach, by the way. Willie Green is great.
I'm not a Pelicans fan.
He's the
Don't
next
say
Monty
we.
Williams.
I got
Although I do love a lot of
two slept on big teams. I think
Sure.
one that could make the playoffs, I don't think it's likely, but they could, is the Pistons. I think
Facts.
people are
I was
sleeping on
thinking
them
that low.
because they could get in through the play-in. I'm not saying they'll get a top 8 record,
Right.
but they could get into the play-in. And then another one that they could be as high as a middle-of-the-pack playoff team, the Pacers.
Yeah.
Don't-
They're like
But the Pacers are like them.
If they are 100% healthy
They're
this
healthy.
year,
Well, they're
they
not.
could-
'Cause TJ Warren's
Well,
out.
I'm
for
saying-
the season.
Yeah.
you never know when someone is healthy for the whole season. It's all
Even
kinda lucky.
without TJ Warren, they still could get in. I
Well, they
like
got
the
They
Pacers.
had-
Brogdon, they
everybody
got-
was hurt
I
last
just
year
want to
for
finish
them.
what Rom said. I think
you're tied,
Devontae
right?
Graham. I think Devontae Graham was the most underrated signing in all of free agency.
It's perfect for Zion.
All the free
Very
agency.
trade was-
Devontae Graham was a borderline All-Star 2 years ago.
Can I talk about the Pacers for a second?
Go
Go
for it.
ahead.
I've been thinking about making a video on them, but
Do it.
they confuse me.
No one
'cause,
cares about
like,
the Pacers, so it won't get
I
viewed.
could, yeah, I could see it going bad for them or really, really good for them, where they're like a 5th seed or something. Brogdon, Levert, and then you got Chris Duarte, who is like, he's going to be so good. The Warriors,
That's your boy right there, Ron.
the Warriors are idiots for.
And
not
they added
drafting
Torrey
him.
Craig.
Yeah.
And they added Torrey Craig.
Yeah, but the Warriors drafted the potential.
And they got an underrated player in Ashe Brissett, who like averaged like 16
Yes, no one
points
talks
like,
about
during
him.
a run last year.
My friend is the biggest.
The only
OKC
thing,
fan.
the only thing I don't like is Miles Turner still being there because he just pisses me off. I don't
And-
know why. I think he's trash.
And
Ben
last
Simmons
year,
played
they
for
had
them.
arguably one of the worst coaches in the league.
Yeah,
like Nate
of all
Bjorken.
time.
Now, of all time, maybe. Now they added Rick Carlisle, who's a proven champion, and he used to coach there too, so he's probably going to be even more motivated. Like, oh, like I used to be here. Like this is like
Yep.
my old grounds. Like, I feel like they're going to be really good if they're healthy. This is a hot
the
take,
biggest-
but
that's such
their
an if, though.
ceiling, if 100% healthy, is the 3 seed.
I agree, but like Karis LeVert is so injury prone, and like Malcolm
He's also
Brogdon-
very good at basketball.
Malcolm Brogdon is arguably a top 10 point guard in the league. Too.
That's why I wanted.
I don't
wanted
consider
Ben
Malcolm
Simmons
Brogdon a
for
point guard.
Brogdon, bro.
I
He
consider
is,
Malcolm Brogdon
like-
more of a 2.
He was a shooting guard a lot, like in Milwaukee, but in
Mhm.
Indiana he's been utilized more as a point.
Milwaukee
They got,
should have
like
kept him, by
Levert
the
and
way.
Warren, and then Sabonis.
Nah,
and
they
Turner
want to
now.
chip. They're good.
Yeah, I don't think you could say the Bucks should have done anything now that they're champions.
Yeah, they
Okay,
should have.
what?
They should have lost Game 6. And
Bro,
you know,
Brogdon would have been so perfect next to Maxi.
Ron's
Brogdon-
daydreaming
Yeah,
over.
wet dream.
Scoring guard, and then you got a nice facilitator, chill, relax, pace, Brogdon. Oh my god,
I made a
Boy, he's
list
such an idiot.
a year ago about the top 10 most underrated players in the league, and I had Malcolm Brogdon second. And the only guy I had above him was DeMar DeRozan, and now he's on my team. So I'm liking that.
I don't know how. Tell me how Mike Conley made the All-Star team over DeMar DeRozan.
And
That's you can't be asking me that because I have really no idea. I think it's just because they won a lot.
I mean,
of
I know the
games.
answer. The answer is team record. But like,
It is stupid. I hate when they reward people. See, they didn't used to do that. Like, you could be on a terrible team, but if you're
Yep.
putting up numbers, like you can make the All-Star game. Like I remember,
especially
like,
back in the day, man.
I think like Jamal McGlure, who like
Mhm.
he made it once, and the Hornets like still sucked or something. But he was putting up crazy numbers on like an 11, 12 seed at the time.
Yep.
And then he made the All-Star team. Like, okay, like I'd still rather have that than like some random like 39-year-old Reggie Miller who's only averaging like 12 points per game or something like that. And he didn't make it, but I'm just saying like it was better the way it was back then more than it is kind of now.
Super
Facts.
Mario, let me ask you this:
Lob it.
why do you like the Jazz so much?
I just think that, well, first of all, I don't know if I like the Jazz so much, but I feel like
Besides
you guys
Donovan
aren't-
Mitchell,
You believe in the Jazz.
You guys
No, he
aren't
believes
giving
in
them a
Donovan
fair
Mitchell.
enough chance.
I think I have the
I
same
do believe in
opinion.
Donovan Mitchell because I see a lot in him, like what I've seen in like a lot of the all-time greats, just like with their passion. And like he reminds me so much of like a young D Wade and like how a young Kobe Bryant was, just like the way that he's like so motivated in the game.
That's what Tyrese Maxey gives me.
Okay. I'm just talking about Donovan Mitchell.
Tyrese Maxey's the GOAT.
I mean, yeah, their roster isn't perfect. I think like against certain teams, like people got to realize the NBA is like so matchup oriented. Like, because you could play like when he plays the Warriors, usually they expose Gobert. But if he's playing a team that isn't like prioritizing floor spacing, maybe the Lakers, like, because they won't have like a stretch big necessarily that's consistent. I know AD can stretch the floor, but it's not like he's gonna, I don't know, shoot like Cat or something from back there. So like maybe like that situation he could benefit more from. So like it kind of all just depends. I feel like people are sleeping on them though because of the matchups that's been provided with the Jazz. I mean, like they played the best 3-point shooting team in the league last year in the Clippers. And like that's why they could exploit him, because that's what they did. They started stretching out the floor. And then like Bogdanovich and Conley have each had injuries over the last 2 years. If in the bubble, if both those guys are healthy, they might like, I mean, the Nuggets went to the conference finals. So theoretically, they very well could have went to the conference finals.
That's what I'm saying about the Dallas Mavericks. Like, if they didn't play the Clippers, like I think they could have beaten like a lot of other teams, and they almost beat the Clippers.
I still think that they're like a piece away, though. I think the Mavericks are nice. I just think that they're a piece away. They'll be a playoff team for sure, but I don't know if they're gonna like, unless Kristaps Porzingis like has like a comeback season or something like that.
He's just been injured and a little inconsistent, but he still puts up numbers.
And he's ugly.
On that note, you guys, I hate to cut this short, but any final thoughts, any final hot takes, and then we'll close it out. We'll start with
Christian Porter hot take. The Lakers are a second round exit. I agree.
We gotta.
No, I don't agree with that. I think a third round.
Damn it, dude.
I agree.
What are you doing over there, Reliable? Yeah, you got some food? Jeez, man. Bring me some food.
Bro, what the hell, dude? I was so excited for these onion rings.
So before Reliable eats his food, Reliable, what's your hot take? What's your final thoughts?
Hot take about like what?
Just anything. It can be about football, anything you want.
Bro, what?
Final thoughts, bro.
Oh, you're gonna say something about football, bro?
No, I'm not. I swear I'm not.
Welcome to the NFL show on Sons Geeks channel.
I like the Browns a lot, man. I like the Browns a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
When's Aaron Rodgers getting traded?
Bro, I don't know. My final thoughts are like, I don't know. I think every single one of our team has bright spots and then questionable spots as well, especially with the Suns in the future.
I don't even want to talk about that.
And then the Sixers with Ben Simmons, and then if
we just don't know what the Bulls will be.
Exactly. And then my team with Westbrook, but every team has those marks, and every team is going to. I don't think there's a really bad team in the NBA right now, which is a good thing. So
I even think some of the worst teams in the league will have really good moments.
No, the Cavs are trash. The Magic are trash.
Cavs are not trash.
Ooh,
the Magic are.
I don't think the
dumpster
Magic are
fire. Trash.
All right, those are my final takes, though.
Cavs are trash.
Romp, what's your final thoughts?
5 years down the road, Tyrese Maxey will be known as a
all-star
and one of the best players in the league. He's like Donovan Mitchell, low key. I don't know why Super Mario doesn't like him, but also in 5 years, Maxey and Embiid will lead the Sixers to a championship. By 2026, I expect Maxey and Embiid to have a title in Philadelphia.
And just like Tom Brady, LeBron James will still be playing by 2026.
Yeah, because they have drugs that the government don't even have.
Super Mario Hoops, you got any final thoughts? Any hot takes before we get out of here?
I'll give 3 hot takes. One about my team, one that's current, and then one that's an all-time take. For my team, I think that we could potentially get to the conference finals if everything works out. I don't think there's anything further than that, but I think we could. The second one, I said already about Jalen Green. I mean, I'm just kind of like refreshing.
That's a crazy hot take.
I do not believe in the hype yet. I've already said I don't believe in the hype really for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander too.
Do you like
Maybe
Bradley
that's
Beal?
Oh my
What?
god, bro. Oh my god.
I'm not saying he's not good, but I'm just saying like the hype there is too much, bro.
Why are you hating on Shea,
Dude,
bro?
next time we are doing a hot take show. I don't care. We're not even
We're
gonna.
doing
hot takes.
We're doing a
come
hot
on,
take
dog.
show.
I'm just saying. And then
You made me lose my appetite, bro.
my last one I'll say is that in 1970, Willis Reed had a top 15 MVP.
Speaking my
season
language.
ever.
Wait, what?
Damn.
Sorry.
In 1970, Willis Reed had a top 15 MVP season ever.
Dude, I'm Mr. NBA history over here, and I didn't even know that.
Well, see, because in all, it was one of the best seasons because, and people don't realize this, but he was, well, one, he was the MVP. And then he went on to win the finals MVP. So in like totality, that season as a whole was great. But then people also don't realize that back then, the Defensive Player of the Year award didn't exist. And he was all defensive first team. And if it did exist, he was definitely going to get it. And he would have been the first ever MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP all in one season, which we've only seen one other time since in Hakeem Olajuwon. So it's a top 15 MVP ever.
Dude,
I just play recently.
I like the Pistons making the playoffs.
Me too, actually.
I think they could. I think
the only problem
That's
is
what Christian Porter said.
if they make it, then the Knicks won't make it, or like the Celtics if they drop back. Like one team, like the Hawks or like one. If you put the Pistons in, you have to take out the Hawks or the Knicks or the Celtics or the Sixers.
That reminds me.
That's like the thing that's keep holding me back from saying the Pistons will make it.
That reminds me, Romp. I left a comment literally, I think, on your video about Schroeder, and I said hot take, but the Celtics are missing the playoffs. And I got like 20 people reply to me that are like, "Oh, you're an idiot. You're casual. Like you're stupid."
Dude,
like,
yeah, people were pissed. I put the Hawks at 7. I'm like, dude, I don't care what anyone says. The Hawks were trash last. Well, they weren't trash. They beat us, but like Danilo Gallinari was like playing unreal. Lou Williams was playing unreal. Like a lot went their way. I'm not saying the Hawks were bad. But like,
they had a pretty good offseason, though.
I wish Mojo was in here right now.
They're like, hey, I'll battle Mojo.
That's my next show.
No, that's my boy Mojo. I'm just saying a lot went their way. And I think it was more of a fluke than actual realness.
It's more so that like the Sixers lost that series.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's what I'm saying.
I think a lot of people realize that because like
the coaching,
if the Sixers were playing at their best, like they're winning that series. Like now they probably still would lose to the Bucks, but like if they were playing at their best, that was kind of like a collapse. It's kind of like how the Clippers against the Nuggets. If they were playing at their best, like in 2020, I mean they beat them, but like it's simply like they lost it. I think more than the Nuggets won it, and it's like that's how it was last year for the Hawks and Sixers. Not that they didn't deserve to win, but it's kind of just how it was.
Yeah, they definitely Sixers lost.
Sponsored by whatever Reliable Rants is eating over there.
All right, Brandon, where's your hot take?
My hot take is the Suns are going to get back to the NBA Finals, and Bill Russell gets overlooked as one of the GOATs of all time. This is
my thing about Bill Russell. Like,
I don't know.
In his time, the only reason people don't say that is because he would be an average NBA player in this time.
Don't say that,
is gonna get into this.
I mean, listen,
we're not.
That's my hot take. Show's over.
Why do you have to bring up Bill Russell? That's Super Mario.
Bill Russell's the GOAT. By the way, I forget the YouTuber. I forget the YouTuber who made it. Some YouTuber made a video of like legends of the '60s, and like he really breaks down like why they were actually really good and like how some of them would actually be pretty good today. Go find that video. Go check it out. It's especially you, Super Mario. You'd like that video. A lot of the young kids need to take notes on some of the legends of our game.
Porter, I gotta disagree with that, buddy.
What do you say?
If they're healthy, the Nets are winning, in my opinion. If they're healthy, no one's beating the Nets.
If they're healthy, they're winning a championship.
Dude, James Harden single-handedly beat the Suns one game by himself. So if they're all three healthy, they're going to the finals.
You're not the only one, Brent. He's done it to a lot of teams.
They're beating.
Well, you know what? It felt like it because James Harden killed us, and Devin Booker had this look on his face like, yeah, we just blew it.
They're beating the Portland Trailblazers in the finals.
All right.
All right.
Get your Trailblazers love out of here, bro.
On that note,
Another first round extra for the Blazers.
Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for everybody who watched the live show. Thank you to everyone who watches after the live show. Leave your hottest takes in the comments below. Make sure to Hulk smash that like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. And once I can find my button, I will see you guys next time. I don't know where my button is. I'll just end the broadcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. There we go.